what's up, YouTube fam? All right, let's take a look at what's happening today. I had two setups that I outlined, but my day job got in the way. I couldn't actually well, I got into one and it was looking pretty choppy, so I took like $75 and walked out. Then I got busy for the reentry, but I figured we could take a look at NQ and yes, and see what today's transaction gave us. Sorry. So I was just looking at NQ, so I thought I'd share with you guys. All right. So let me make sure and get tiny. All right. So I was like, well, I was wondering if how NQ was doing today. So I'm on the 1 minute here, and this is the 10 o'clock time frame right here. So I was looking at it, and let's dip up to the 15 minute for a hot second over here. And I was looking at, what was going on here. We made, this is at 9:30, big shift up. So I wanted to see what it was going to roll up into. Honestly, I was looking at the daily trying to figure out where the heck it was trying to go, if I'm being honest. So, let's clear this all out. And I was testing it out. So you see I got a little something, something, but not real money. It's just a little test. So this would be Monday. This is Thursday's high, right? And the low. So let's just then drop down to 15 minute for that. So that's like the high of like the previous Friday, like the highest week or whatever. So beyond here, I had nothing, to work with. I probably would have to use the actually that's a good plan. Let's go instead of using the contract, let's oops. Sorry about that. No, ma'am. Really? I thought there was an exclamation. Okay, there is. Haha. All right, so let's take a look at the weekly, right? Right. So on the weekly, just we've dug all the way up into this. So now we have something to work towards, right? Let's see, did they make it all the way up here? No. So the wick. So we had a bearish order block right here. And let's zoom in because make sure I have it up here right. Okay. So this bearish order block that they tapped beautifully inside of that fair value gap. So I'm just gonna thicken this up a bit because I need it to be very obvious. Let's just go weekly. So they hit a weekly bearish order block. Just bring that back over there. And let's oh, it's white. You can see it. Bam. Okay. All right. So then that's this up there and the rest of that fair value gap. So if I was outlining NQ, which it's a premium fair value gap up there. I tapped into it. Let's drop to the 15 minutes. Okay. So I was looking to see if I could understand the price action in here and how we went up and here for the drop because I had a long setup in the morning for ES and a short setup in the afternoon as well. So I was just curious to see if NQ has something similar. What I don't generally have outlined with NQ is what the draw is, right? So this bearish order block, fair value gap above. So let's drop down into 5-minute and take a quick look at the 10 o'clock time frame. So like what's around it first and foremost, right? So let's first note that we have this fair value gap on the 5 minutes, right? And then drop to the 1 minute, snip over here. right? So as we look through it, what's actually a gap inside of here? Oh man, look at it. So on the 1 minute, this is the only actual real gap in here. So let's give that a different shade, right? Let's look at that. Look at it. Isn't that beautiful? So that's the only real gap. So this is overlapped, overlapped. This is overlapped, overlapped. So there's nothing and no real good reason for them to come all the way back down. It's like one pass, one pass. But this is the real gap. You see how the body's respected it? So seeing all of that in this general area here, I'm gonna push this this way. So my inclination is to drop into the 15-second, right, and see what's in this general vicinity. So on the 15-second, where they've dropped into an actual order block, and that order block had a fair value gap right there. So a couple of ways to get in this entry, right? You can either say, well, it's at an order block, boom, boom, cool. Or now that we've seen the shift, let's push this forward, right? We've shifted, we've got a low, lower low shifted through, right? So now what does that give us? That gives us a bullish breaker right here. Bullish breaker. Inside of that breaker, we have a fair value gap. I'm not gonna, right? So let's take a look at that, right? So if we do like right there, and let's get below this guy, because I've already taken these out, so I don't know if I'm feeling like they're gonna come out. Could I have gotten a 20 tick stop here comfortably? My preference would be for it to be below here. So perhaps I'll drop it to the base and do that. And then I'm looking for them to take out these highs at minimum, right? Dip in here. We're coming up to this thing, couple ticks over, or whatever. That's 284 ticks on the NASDAQ. So let's see what happens. All right. Woo. So now that just hit what I consider to be a good spot for an entry, right? So that hit the entry area that I wanted. And look at that. That's like what, like $500 move in one fell swoop, right? And now other things. Oops. What? So if I were to drop this fib here and here, it came to about the halfway point and then took off, right? If I'm looking at buy side over here, that's there, but the order block, 14,673. So I don't know if they actually go up all the way up there, but let's just let it run. And they come back down and give us another opportunity. And this is the 10, 11 o'clock time frame, so we'd have to sit through. So here's where what I'm finding to be really interesting right now, right? They came and tapped the 0.7, right? And I do believe they take off and continue back up. So multiple opportunities now for you to see. This is like 10:25. Oh, we're still in the 15 seconds. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna let it run like on the 1 minute or something. Super choppy. So you could have taken this up once you started seeing it acting up and taken like a decent amount from up here. It's like that's 160. The highest point it hit 196. I mean, you could just be aiming for the base of this thing and voila, 196 ticks. That's beautiful. But they're still going all the way up here, obviously, because they did for the day, right? So you could have, and they tapped it one more time. Now, I'm curious. In the 10 o'clock time frame, did they give us another opportunity for an entry, right? So we had another nice shift here, right? Let's drop down into a 15-second. I really like that. 15 seconds. Let's see. What do we have? So they took out these lows right here, and we have another shift. This tiny fair value gap is balanced at this point. Tap that. They take these lows out, we're going down, but, well, maybe I'm wrong. It's all about how the candles close. The wicks can do the damage, right? So let me see. Low, lower low, shallow traded through. This breaker would not have held. It's not a good one, I don't think. Let's go back to like the 1 minute. This is all gross chopped up. I don't think there's a fair value gap in here at all. So, personally, I would have been out of here taking that. That's a nice looking run. But they eventually roll up, and I'm still curious to see if they gave us another opportunity for an entry, right? So there's nothing here on the 1 minute. Let's go look at the 30 seconds. Oh, let's clear itself. And let's see. So it's just this tiny thing, and they came back down to it, took off. So nothing there. It gave you something here, but that's not quite the same. We shifted here. And we're too close to where we need to go for it to matter. Let's look at the 15 seconds. So that's a no. All right, well, let's just see. Let's just roll out how it plays out. So all that chop, chop, chop for them to finally take it and then hook us up with a nice thing. Now, I'm personally currently very much having a hard time holding on to these types of trades, but it is what it is. All right, so let's look at the afternoon. Let's take a look at the afternoon short. But that long, if we had the wherewithal to hold on to it, would never have been stopped out, would have sat through all that and then gotten what we needed. Very, very high resistance right here. This move, this first move, beautiful. Take it, run. I'd have been happy. And then maybe if they gave me something in here, but I didn't see it, not comfortably, Anyway, so let's move this forward to the afternoon. So 1 hour. Let's go here. Let's go there. Wow, okay. All right, so let's see what they gave us around the 2 o'clock time frame. All right, so after they went up here, so this is lunchtime stuff. 1, 2, 3 drives, as ICT says. Shift right here. Left, nothing here, but here. Never quite came back into it. And then continued dropping on the 5 minute. Let's look at that on the 1 minute. See if they gave us an opportunity, right? Let's zoom in this area here. So we had a nice shift, fair value gap. Yeah, they did give us an opportunity after taking out all of this, and then kept dropping. And then let's see, at 2 o'clock though, we rolled up in here. We had a drop, nice, and they came back up into this order block, small fair value gap, and then dropped for another run. Understanding that we're going down, my preference would have been to see something in here. So let's take a look at the 15 seconds in that space. Let that render. So 2 o'clock, right. All right, so shift. Okay, so on the 15 second, we had this fair value gap, because we all know like they drop, they like to come up and eat you alive. There's nothing stopping this thing, so come back order block. So if we'd said right at this right here, stop right about there, 32. See, where would I need to be for a 20 tick stop? Because I just want to keep right there. Would have gotten that. And then they dropped a bunch, right? So where were they going? Let's go up to the 15 minutes. Let's see. So given the nature of the day, like I'm looking at these lows right down here. I don't know, do they give us that? So that's a big fat no. They came up to this order block right here. So potential options at that point. Let's see how it's delivered and how we could have managed this. Let's drop back down to 1 minute, right? So let's say we got this entry up here. Beautiful. And we drop here and we start doing this. Smoking. And I look to the right. Maybe we're looking at these lows, could have taken those lows as potential. The question is, did we have enough, did it offer enough ticks? Wow, that's a lot of ticks. I mean, I would have been okay for under here. So let's take a look at, let's grab that low. So if we're looking for, say, under here, that would have been beautiful. Under here, since it's so close, that would have been beautiful. I mean, just 266 ticks just from that run. I mean, the Nasdaq is doing the do, you know? It's doing the do. Anyway, I don't want this video to get too long. It's only 16 minutes. Let's take a look at ES really quickly. ESM 2023. This one was a little bit easier, if I'm being honest with you. Let's do like 15 minutes. Because I was expecting them, you know, they'd already like, let's come back up. They'd already eaten. I was expecting them to come in here with this volume imbalance, right? And basically maybe turn around is, you know, was my expectation. Like I was saying, they're going to reach up in here unless they like bust through it with some gusto and they took this high out, then yeah, we're continuing out. But I mean, fill it, definitely. And then turn or consolidate because, you know, it's reaching for a bit. There's another one up there, but, you know, just wanted to know that. So from here at 10 o'clock, I expect them to come all the way back up here to at least take the ends of this. And they were also hanging out inside of the new week opening gap, very small one, and the new day opening gap, range gap or whatever as well. So let's drop down to 5 minutes at the 10 o'clock time frame here. That's 12. So 10 o'clock right here. So looking at this, and it's a similar scenario as NASDAQ, I think, right? So we had all of this, like, sort of chillaxing in this space. We had a big shift here at 9:30. And so what did we have in the general vicinity? So I don't even think I noticed this this thing right here, this volume imbalance. I don't think I even noticed that. I think when I looked over, I saw them come down and take these lows out. So I was looking for a reason to go long for them to continue because they're so close. Why wouldn't they do it, right? So on the 1 minute, I saw, you know, this shift right here. I was like, very nice, very nice. So I was like, cool, that's going to be good. And so low, lower low shifted through. So I'm thinking about this breaker right here, at least, you know, bullish breaker right here. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm not quite right. That's wrong. I mean, they eventually, this is the afternoon. Sorry, it's the wrong one. Come back over here. Yeah, this is where we're at. All right, so 10 o'clock, yes. So 10 o'clock, I'm looking at in this general vicinity here, and I'm literally on the 15-second. Make sure I'm in the right place. Still waiting for them to come up and take up all of that. They decided to be very, very very, very lazy about it. So they took this out. So I was down here and I was watching all this chop, choppity, 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 chop, and not really seeing what I want yet, right? So low, lower low, traded through. We had this volume imbalance right here. So the long position that I had, something like 8 ticks right below there, it came down, almost took me out, right? And of course, my general expectation is all of this 70 ticks. And they do it, they absolutely positively do it. It just takes, well, I'm on the 50 seconds, so it just takes a while, right? For them to get over there. But they get to it. Sorry. So let's zoom in, right? A little bit on the spot. So the other option was as well low, lower low, very shallow traded through. Not the best. Oops, took that off. So that was one option. Second option was, they've taken all this out. Nice shift here and low, lower low, traded through. So now we have this breaker. Even better option. Bullish breaker. Because we've broken out of this range, right? Gotta wait for that. So broken out of the range and so if I take it at the order block, there's a tiny little thing down there. I don't think they're going to come all the way out of that. Order block. I mean, this would have been a very clean look at 4 ticks of a stop and then write it until eventually we get up there. So I really do like these lower time frames. I really, really do. So that's, and then all the way up here would give us 60 ticks in the morning. It's not the worst, it's not bad at all. I think at most from the lower entry that I actually got in at, and let me see, let me check my, because I didn't hold it, is what really happened to me. It's like I didn't hold it. So my long position, from 42.89, 42.89 was where I took it. So yeah, so up here. So this clearer entry is what is what I was working with, 42.89, and my stop did not get touched, but I didn't hold. So things to work on. So what did I do? 42.89. Yeah. Is that where that is? A tick under here. Oh, ha ha ha. I took it here. Sorry, guys. 42.89. That's so yeah. Right there, sorry. Just waiting for him to come back down to there. All right. Look at my thingy here. Let's look at the history. Okay, so limit order. Yeah, 42.89 filled. 42.90.50 at 10.29. Okay, so maybe I'm messing up when I took the entry. 10.20. Oh, I took it over here. 10.29, 42.89. And I had a stop loss that was 9 ticks. I mean, 8 ticks. 8. Always 8. Yeah, so I was watching them come down. It's not the most ideal spot. This was the right spot. But come down and almost stop me out, but not quite. And then if I'd held, for however long it took to get here. Let's drop up to the 5 minutes. And let's see. See how long that would have taken. So from here, from the entry here approximately, man, 2 hours, 3 hours for that, man. 3 hours. That's crazy. All right, let's take a look at the short. Now, this was a little bit easier to deal with. So the 1 minute at the 2 o'clock time frame. Here we are. Perfect. Much easier to deal with. So we had shift, low, sorry, high, higher, high, shifted through. So relatively easy. These two down candles are our bearish breaker right there. And right inside of that, we had this fair value gap right here. Let's just note that. Technically, there's two, right? The one up here, this little guy, they tapped it. So let's note that since I did go all the way up there. And let's do that. Okay, let's drop down to the 15-second and see if this entry would have made sense. So clearly, very, very clearly on the 15-second, we can make some adjustments, right? High, higher, high traded through. The breaker is now on the 15 seconds now here, the very base of it. So if I adjust this like so, so all of a sudden, an entry from here for a short, at the base of this breaker, and with a stop, a tick stop above the breaker, beautiful, and then aiming, see how much could we have gotten? Let's bust in through this thing. 60 ticks. I'd have to trade the NASDAQ. That thing is booming, man. But let's look at the 15-minute and see where they were going, right? Because I think they were, where'd it go? Right. So I think they were just heading towards this fair value gap right here and the order block. So we have fair value gap, and let's see if they made it. They made it to this high, of course. Did they make it to the order block itself? No. So they just took the high. And that's that. So, if I go back to the 1 minute and I were to drop a fib on this to see just for aiming purposes. And, this guy was pretty much right in the general vicinity here, so we'd have gotten that beautifully. 74 ticks left, like box chocolates. And then we have this big shift right here, low, lower, low, shifted through. So on the 1 minute breaker, they did come back down into it. They took this out, but not that one out, and kind of went up and meandered. I mean, in all honesty, there's really only one trade after two as a silver bullet, and it was basically this one. And then if you were watching this, I don't even know if they gave you an opportunity to get that. Let's take a look here. Really love this time frame, but I didn't know why. I don't know why I haven't used it. All right, so they gave you this option right here, but it's not quite in the right time. Shift. They gave you an opportunity here right at the tick and then dropped. So you had options. In any case, just want to take a look and review because I am back to I'm back to being willing to take the trades now. My chest doesn't feel tight every time I look at the charts. So I think that's a good thing. I'm going to leave this at 30 minutes. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you got any good trades in today. And, be good, be safe. Shakira, out.